Hi everyone, it's me, Lindsay, with EquipMeOT, here today to talk about toileting after a back injury or back surgery. This is a very tricky challenge for a lot of folks, and one where we see a lot of missteps that can cause problems with your healing process or just cause a lot of extra pain. Because as you know, when you're healing from a back injury or back surgery, the two things you really can't do a lot of is bending and twisting, both which are involved in the process of going to the bathroom. So I want to go over how I'd set up the bathroom in this situation, and then the strategies I'd use to make sure that we're following all those precautions closely so you can heal properly. So let's first talk about the equipment I'd have in place. This is going to vary a bit depending on you yourself, your injury, and the bathroom setup that you already have. So I'm going to kind of show you what I have in this bathroom and then some things that I might do to change it a little bit to make it better. So this bathroom has a very low standard toilet, and this is only about 15 inches high. If I was a slightly taller person, I'd probably put a riser on it, which would give it an additional 3 inches, putting it at that 17 to 18 inch height, which would be more comfortable for getting up and down. Now I'm relatively short, I'm only 5'4", so I could probably get away with this if my legs were strong. It's really going to depend on your needs. If you would like a video on how to install a raised toilet seat, I've got a couple, I'll link one here. I also would very strongly consider, and I would think this is important for pretty much anybody across the board, to have some sort of security frame or at least something to hold on to when you're backing up to sit down. One of the things you cannot do during your transfer onto the toilet is turn to look where the seat is. So you really need to be able to feel it with your hands before you go to sit. You don't want to miss the seat and go tumbling down to the floor. I'm going to show you a trick though that would work with your walker. So if you're somebody who's using a walker and you don't necessarily want to do all of the process of installing safety rails, you can do this, and this is actually a really nice way to do it safely, okay? So I'm standing with my walker as I probably would as I approach the toilet, but instead of having the walker in front of me, I'm actually going to turn. I'm going to turn my whole body with the walker in the bathroom here, nice and slow and steady, and I'm going to put the walker like this behind the toilet, okay? So now, again, I'm not going to twist. I'm going to take my steps, holding onto the walker handles, walking in a circle. My hands can be behind me. This is a safe position. And now I have something to help guide me as I sit onto the toilet. And you can see it's a little low for me. I probably would add a little height here. So now I'm on the toilet safely. The walker's behind me. I can use it to help me stand back up. But again, can't twist like this. So what we often tell people is hold on here. So hold on to the front portion of the walker and help push yourself to a stand, okay? That's safe. Again, the walker behind me to sit. So that's a way I'd set up the toilet for success. A few other essential pieces of equipment I'd have in place is a good, reliable reacher, okay? And make sure this reacher is someplace where you can get it really, really easily, because in the bathroom, the last thing you want is to be fumbling around looking for a reacher trying to pull your pants back up. Okay, so I recommend having a designated bathroom reacher, not only for hygienic reasons, but just to make sure you're never without it when you're using the restroom. So you can get these fairly inexpensively. I'll leave a link down below in my description as to where you can find one similarly to this. I like this style for pants management, which is exactly what you'd be using it for in the bathroom. Another thing you very well might need in the bathroom is a way to help with hygiene. Oftentimes during a back surgery or back recovery, you cannot reach easily to get to your backside to wipe it for cleanliness. So I have these two different models of wipers, and these are going to give you an extended reach so that you can reach back and safely access so that you can wipe yourself without bending or twisting unnecessarily. This model is nice because it folds in half, so it's a little more transportable. Not necessary if you're going to keep it in the same bathroom all the time. Has a slightly different option than this one by JUVO, which has this removable lid here. And you can see it has this, let's see, gotta release it here. There it goes. So this one has more of a clamp end, and then you pinch the toilet paper between it. I'll show you how to use these in just a second. So those are another piece of equipment that I'd want to have in place. Okay, let's talk about strategy. First things first, clothing. One of the things that you'll want to make sure you consider is the type of clothing you're picking, especially early on in your recovery process. Elastic waistbands are an essential. And there's two reasons why. One, it's significantly more comfortable, easier to deal with, especially if you're dealing with a low lumbar brace, because oftentimes figuring out how to get pants under or over the brace is a little tricky. So having a good pair of elastic pants or several pairs so you're not doing laundry too frequently. And I'll show you why this is a nice way to do it, because when you're pulling your pants down, if you have an elastic waist like this one, I can actually stop the pants at about mid-thigh by simply pulling them down. And again, this is going to be dependent on how much balance and comfort you have doing this. I'm not bending at all. And now I've got my pants mid-thigh. I may have to separate my legs just a little bit to kind of put some resistance so they don't slide down to all the way to the floor. Obviously, I have another pair of pants underneath, which is giving them a little friction to hold them in place. Now, with the pants at my thigh, I can sit down nice and easy. And then if I so choose, I can work them a little farther down, but still not so far that I'd have to use my reacher to get them off the floor, okay? So keeping the pants up above the knee is really, really helpful. Same goes for the underwear. If you can kind of keep them around the knee level, you won't have to use your reacher to retrieve them off the floor. Now, obviously, I still recommend having the reacher in place because you never know. Some pants will just slide down without you realizing it or when you go to stand up. But this is a really nice reason to have elastic pants in place. Okay, so if you do have your elastic pants and they do happen to, or your underwear, and they do happen to fall all the way to the floor, that's where you'd use your reacher. Not bending to retrieve the pants. This isn't allowed. So you would use your reacher to help guide them up over your knees. This is a little tricky because my other pants are a little stiff. There we go, okay? So that you can get them up. Again, holding them at the knee height, like this, or as high as you can get them, really. And then standing and pulling them back up. So the whole process of dressing goes much easier with a comfortable pair of elastic pants, okay? So we're gonna go back down to a seated position here. Let's talk about hygiene. It's really important to consider your options here. I'm a big proponent of adding a bidet. This toilet here has a Neo 120 bidet on it. Very low cost, very easy to install. I'll post my video on how to install this particular model up above. And I would say a bidet is a great option for anyone dealing with chronic back issues, whether that's recovering from surgery or somebody who has something that's recurrent. The bidet is going to prevent a lot of extra twisting, which is a really nice feature in the bathroom. The bidet will also not completely eliminate the need for toilet paper, as a lot of people still like to have that extra wipe to kind of make sure everything is clean and dry. You can wait it out and let it dry naturally, but again, this is something that's nice to have as a security. Let me show you how you would wrap around the toilet paper on one of these nice JUVO. In their instruction manual, they recommend around 6 squares of toilet paper. Basically, you want enough so that it'll wrap around itself a few times or create a nice, you're gonna kind of cinch this in here. And I like to wrap it around like this so that I'm completely covering the head. And then I simply tuck it into the end and close it, okay? So we're completely covered on this end. Now, the good thing is both models I'm showing here have a really nice soft end. So you don't have to worry about accidentally injuring yourself if you wipe too aggressively. There are some models of these that have a more hard plastic end, and those are a little iffy, so be wary of those. Okay, so then you would simply access from the front, and you're going to wipe front to back, clearing out that area, dry it off if you've used the bidet, or simply to wipe if you've done it without the bidet. The nice thing with these is it's hands-free removal. You simply release, and it will shake off the end, and you drop it into the toilet. A lot of people do that once they've stood up. They'll wipe, they'll hold this for a second, stand up, turn around, drop this into the toilet so that it's all clear. I keep these in the bathroom. I always wipe them down after use. It's a really good idea to keep them clean. Certainly don't want to be spreading bacteria around. This one comes with a little extra cover, so that's a nice feature too. It's vented for drying, so once you've wiped it down, you can do that. Okay, so there you have it. Several ways to keep you safe and secure when you're using your bathroom after you've had a back injury or back surgery. If you got some value out of this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. As always, if you need more information on how to stay safe and independent in your home and community, consider subscribing to EquipMeOT. Thank you.